Alright, turn 25. So, what we're doing this turn is very simple. We've got back here. Vanarus seems to have fucked off. Ulm has gathered quite a large stack in their little fort here. It says about 370 enemy units. Of course, that could be inaccurate. Could be as few as 200, and I think that's probably more likely. 200, 250, something like that. But it's still going to be enough to deal with our skeleton stacks. So, we're moving some people. We're moving everybody back here to pick up yet more sacreds, of which we have some more. We are reviving more lictors, reanimating more lictors. We are... And that's it. We're saving our death gems because we're going to hit Shadow Blast next turn. And then I'm going to take literally all of my mages that are here, and we're going to add them to the army with death gems. And then we're going to try and break the army of Ulm once and for all. Over here, I've got Itimu by himself, suiciding onto Ermor. We attacked Ermor, and we actually bounced off the PD because Ulmish crossbowmen, which they get in their province defense, are actually fairly solid heavy infantry. They have 17 protection, decent stats across the board. They're mainly limited by resource cost, but of course when you get them in province defense, resource cost doesn't matter. So because they have plate cuirass and half helmet and a short sword, they can actually whip up on skeletons in close combat. So we charged in, we actually broke the infantry of Ulm, but then the crossbowmen kind of held firm and stopped us there. So that's okay. We've taken Cormark. We're moving on to take Dragon Ridge from 50 Kappa, who I think our 97 units can handle. We are moving our 2 priests up here. This is a little bit of a daring move because there is a Shura up there. But I'm going to set them to retreat. Just retreat. And basically, I want them to be able to summon some ghouls, because summoning ghouls is really, really valuable, and there's still population in Cormark. I could turn this population into 50 ghouls. Won't get that many because it'll take turns, but I could turn it into at least a couple turns worth of ghouls, which would bump up the province, the fort defense by like 20 or 30 or something. So I'd like to convert that population into ghouls as rapidly and efficiently as possible. Excuse me, my voice is all kinds of weird today. So we're also moving to take this province back from Yis to make it look like we're fighting them, which we're not, but we're just going to pop in, take that province back. The army is moving back, like I said, to collect more troops. We'll also grab these troops here. I'll probably send... Who can I send to do that? Foul Flesh. Let me send Foul Flesh to do that. He'll pick up about another 60 troops or so. We'll add these barbarians to our armies as well. Murgos is... I guess Murgos I have moving in with the Timu. Oh yeah, because Murgos has all these barbarians, and I don't care if they die because they cost me upkeep. So, that is the plan. Gonna hit Shadow Blast, and then we will go immediately on the offensive. We'll have about 17 death gems. And we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 casters who can throw Shadow Blasts. So it should be a good old time. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 26. No random events this turn, but we did get a death gem from Is, which is all kinds of fun. So, see you next time. Alright, turn 26. We're doing this one live. Ermor, Itimu and the Barbarians charged in against the PD, and it looks like they won out. So I have Itimu back here buffing, while the Barbarians just go in. And then Itimu zips across the field to attack rear, and starts hunting down the routers, which isn't actually all that useful, but in any case, the Barbarians win. Great, good job, Barbarians. Battle in Dragon Ridge. We took it. Great. And in Henwood, woof, excuse me, I almost choked there. We also took it. Light Hills, growth and luck doesn't really matter. A mage in your service has struck a deal with infernal powers? What does that mean? Oh, sweet, we got some devils. Nice. What does striking a deal with infernal powers do? Does it horror mark you or something? Doesn't look like it. Great. Fantastic. Excellent. I love it. Alright, so, Ulm. Is has built a temple there, which is a little bit annoying. Looks like Shinuyama is probably getting set to invade again. So we're just gonna reanimate ghouls. Reanimate ghouls. Grab some ghouls while we have the chance. Let's get these guys back here, defensively speaking. Looks like Vanarus probably isn't interested in invading again, which is excellent. So, Normanthu and all my commanders here with all my troops will be moving back to confront Ulm. Ulm. Ulm, our buddy, our pal. That's 80. And that is, I now have more than 80 lictors. Excellent. Just what I wanted to hear. Who has my knights, though? Where's the knights at? There's the knights at. 81 lictors and 32 knights. This should be a good old time. We'll give those all to Bayer al-Adu. Well, maybe not. Got 5. Let's take 5, put them in that group. This is the management simulator part of playing Ermor, the skeleton management simulator. It's always fun. Always a party. We'll give those guys to Gravesoul, and we will have them also on hold and attack rear. So they can help out. Then, got a line there, got a line there. Let's stack some more people in that line. Let's stack a whole nother whop of troops in that line. There we go. And double line formation. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Got our big old pile of barbarians up front and center. 40 of them. We need to give them to a human commander or a mound king. Ophagian, bring these 40 barbarians with us. They will go in first. They will be the first to die. Actually, I'm sorry. It's 90 lictors. We have a total of 90 lictors. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be fun. I don't know if I'll win, to be perfectly frank. I could well lose, but it'll be fun either way. So, we have 12 death gems total. What I want is, and Mr. Lecter, I want you to leave that behind. I want you to leave that behind. We are taking a break from summoning lictors for the nonce. Who doesn't have gems? You don't have gems. Let's give 3 gems to everyone. 3 gems to you, sir. 3 gems to you. And Flesh Feaster. 3 gems for you. That actually leaves 4 gems. Tell you what, Mr. Lecter, just in the name of maintaining production, you stay here and revive another Lecter. And we will give another death gem to you. And another death gem to you. Another death gem to you. And another death gem to you. And then our script here is going to be skeletal body, hold 1 turn, and then Shadow Blast 3 times. Now it only costs 1 death gem, but it does take 100 fatigue. We're going to be on conservative magic gem usage because it's not important to fire them often. They do a lot of AoE damage, and what I don't want is well, so here's the thing. This guy's on skeletal body and hold. Then Putrascator here. I mean, he can actually cast a lot of different spells. But there aren't many that I really want him to cast instead of Shadow Blast. He could potentially cast Stellar Cascades, which is actually very effective against Ulms. So why doesn't he cast Personal Luck? And then or Astral Geyser. Yeah, let's have him Astral Geyser and then cast spells, and we'll have him on conservative usage as well, because what we don't want is we don't want gems being used up unnecessarily, since we are a little bit short. This guy will have to throw a Shadow Blast first turn, then Skeletal Body, then wait, and then another Shadow Blast. Actually, let's have him Shadow Blast, Skeletal Body, Shadow Blast, then hold 1 turn. Then Shadow Blast, also on conservative usage. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stagger the Shadow Blasts so that we never have more than like 2 mages firing a Shadow Blast at one time. So this script, we're going to number that one, we're going to number that one. So we'll give you that script. We'll give you that script. Then we'll just have you hold, then Skeletal Body, then Shadow Blast twice. 3 times in a row. And then you will give the first script again. And then we will give the 5th script. So, the goal of all this, the whole reason for the operation here is, no, I don't want all the ghouls. Please don't give me all the ghouls. Oh, and there's a couple more knights. The Soulless, give to him just to get them out of the way for a second. You and all of you. And can't put you in lines, so you will be up front on fire closest. Hold an attack rear. Hold an attack rear. So, as I said, the goal of all this is for the Shadow Blasts to be staggered out so that no one person is getting Shadow Blasted. So that no one area of the battlefield is getting Shadow Blasted constantly. And now, let's arrange the Magi. So the Magi will be up there. Put him there. We're just going to stagger the mages out at a range where they will be able to open up very, very quickly. And we do definitely want Skeletal Body. Now, they are already ethereal, but, Iron Blizzard will still ruin them because they have protection 0. So Skeletal Body is important because it will have the damage from that. Put these guys a little bit further forward. Let's stagger the mages out a little bit more just to get a little bit more 3D space in which Iron Blizzard can miss. Okay. So this huge army is going to come here. He won't see what's happening unless he moves his army forward, which he might. Oh, he's got Iron Fudge back, so he's resummoned Iron Fudge. That's fine. So what's going to happen is he's going to move Iron Fudge forward, and then we'll have... which of these guys was scripted to Churchill? Let's get Churchill and Gravecaller with us as well. Where's Gravecaller? He's already moving. Great. Let's move Churchill as well. And Dustheart. Dustheart is also spamming Unholy Protection and then Protection of the Sepulchre, while Churchill spams Unholy Power and then Protection of the Sepulchre. Great. I might take a huge amount of casualties and lose everything, but you've got to make a gamble sometime, and this is the time when I should make my move. If, as I said, if I can destroy this army, I pretty much just win. Not the game, but it will, destroying this army. This army represents an enormous investment of Ulm's time and resources. Bigger than the investment I'm making, because most of my troops are freespawn, and the ones that aren't are summoned, and are relatively cheap. And I think 90 blessed lictors will be able to hack their way through him. I legitimately think they can do that. I don't think there's much doubt. And we still have 3 people reanimating lictors, and we still have Mr. Lictor reviving lictors, so we're still keeping up lictor production. We've still got Eyegrave over here kind of keeping an eye on things. Horror, Eyegrave keeping an eye. See what I did there? Haha, I'm so witty. Oh, I'm so funny, it hurts. But, at the same time, we will have the vast majority of our troops over there fighting the Ulms. And they should do a pretty good job. They should do a pretty good job indeed. We're just popping in a point of defense all over here. Ooh, Mechanther. Yeah, search for magic sites, why not? And Foul Flesh. Take them. Take them. Take him. Take them. You come back to the capital. 5 barbarians there. Itimu is holding the place under siege. That's fine. Murgos, tell you what, Itimu, go take that out. Murgos is valorous, but he is also diseased. Unfortunate. Are we breaking down the walls? Moderately damaged. 100 wall integrity, 51 siege strength. Yeah, they don't have much inside there, so that's fine. And there's a commander of Ulm. I tell you what. I do want to hold this under siege, actually. I was thinking about pressing forward to continue to raid. Actually, let's do that, because this province hardly matters. Let's push it to move forward to raid. Which he can do because it doesn't matter where he dies. And so he can just steal a couple of provinces and do some damage and remove some income from Ulm. Which will be fun. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 27 and turn 28. Turn 27 or 28 could be climactic battles. If not, I should, with the amount of siege strength I have, I should pop that fort. Like, he's got, at most, he's got 400 units there, which would be like 500, maybe 600 siege strength, defense strength. Not even actually, it would be it's less than one each. So yeah. It's less than one each. Guardians, I think, have a bonus. Not that. Yeah, Guardians have a castle defense bonus. Have a castle defense bonus. So they're almost 2 each, but still. Even so, I'm moving in a good bit of strength here. This is 50. And the army moving in here is over 800. So, yeah. I should pop it in one turn. Excellent. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. The battle in Anasia. So, he did move out and attack us. And this was exactly what I was hoping for. So, we have, on our side, we have... Well, that's the Ulmish side. On our side, we have our huge piles and piles and piles of undead. The lines actually extend longer than I was hoping, so I will have to adjust that somewhat because they do block off the knights and the long dead horsemen down here. We've got our big old pile of lictors right in the middle, chaff in front, including the barbarians, chaff in back. And we have our mages all scattered throughout with their death gems ready to shadow blast. In the very back, we have Gravesoul, we have our archbishops mixed in here. On the Ulmish side, we have a big ol' solid line of black plate infantry and guardians mixed in with black priests and master smiths, in addition to, I think, a couple of priest smiths and some independent mages. He's also got some commanders of Ulm with gear including Eyes of Aiming and Flambeaus, which cast Holy Pyre, which is a long-range area of effect times 3 damage versus undead fire spell. So that was definitely a good idea on his part. In the back, he has one gang of guardians on probably guard rear duty, another gang over here, and a group of light infantry. These might be, I think these are just independents. I was thinking they might be mercenaries, but I think they're just recruited independents. So, as the battle starts off, he starts casting Wind Power and then immediately just blasts me with Wind of Memories. And the very first of the Shadow Blasts start to go out, and look. Boom. That is what Shadow Blast does against Ulm. That magic resistance 8 makes them worthless against Shadow Blast. The Barbarians charge in, don't do a whole lot of damage, but they do distract and bunch up the Ulmish for the Shadow Blasts to just tear into them. And as the chaff goes in, the Shadow Blasts, some of them fall short, hit my own chaff, doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt my chaff. So, over here you can see these guys are actually running backwards because my devils jumped into the back lines. On this side, the Ulmish lines are already collapsing. In the center, we're punching through with the lictors. Many of the lictors are injured, but we've been spamming out Protection of the Sepulchre, so most of them are also at MR 17 at this point. And the Shadow Blasts keep a-coming. A few really good hits right in the center there, and the Ulmish armies begin to rout. The Black Plate infantry are running. Many of the mages are dead because they were mixed in with the lines, and others are killed as we advance. And the knights charge forward and run down several of the guardians as they flee. And that is the end of the army of Ulm. They lost their black acolyte, all 7 black priests, all 7 master smiths. Their 1 priest smith did get away, as well as 3 of their independent priests, but the majority of their mage crowd was wiped out. In addition, they lost 3/4 of their black plate infantry and most of their guardians. So, on my side, Primarily lost chaff. I did lose the majority of my knights and about half of my lictors, a little less than half of my lictors. So that's a little bit painful, but that's, you know, if I'm on full production, that's about 4 or 5 turns worth of production, so it's recoverable. And one of my sensors was killed, but nothing too damaging. Yeah, I lost my poor champion. So he's gone forever now, unfortunately. But overall, that was a really, really good battle. We killed, 14 mages, 3 priests, and a commander. This was like the majority of their mage corps just outright gone. So I'm happy about it. We're doing okay. In terms of future plans, however, we got a messenger from Yis. Yis is clearly role-playing and trying to play both sides a little bit, which is interesting. In the Greater Wild, Itimu took another province from Ulm, and in Dragon Ridge, Vanarus has brought their stack back in. They've now got 14 priests, which is the right move. They've also got a Vanabog, their sages, and a Hearse, who is just a commander. And they are still leaning heavily on Chud skin shifters, which do have high magic resistance, so Shadow Blast won't be as effective on them, and Vanarusian Herdmen, which have very average magic resistance. We are besieging down Ermor still, and we'll be taking it fairly shortly. Itimu is going to bounce up here, and for once we are positive on income, which does indicate to me that I probably want to get my barbarians killed, since my barbarians cost upkeep, and so are reducing my effective income. So this army is advancing, primarily. They are advancing on Rame. They're going to break down the walls and try to storm the fort immediately. So that I'll have a third fort, because if I have a third fort, then I'm in a much better place. Hopefully I'll also be able to build a temple here fairly soon, and that will give me a third safe temple, which will kick my death gem income up, and give me all kinds of goodies. Over here, these 3 mages are sneaking back into the Rim Mountains, because I'm going to need to have to hold the Rim Mountains. I'm going to need to hold the Rim Mountains against this army, which is, it says it's only 240, but of course we know that it is actually 320 units, with 75 skin shifters and 14 priests. We also have a little bit of Shinuyama building up over here, which is a little bit annoying. Can't do much about it all right now. Crawler here is taking these 2 bags of wine that we stole from Ulm, and he's going up here to collect some troops here, including a few long-dead horsemen, and move back into Rim Mountains. So we are going to hold Rim Mountains. This army is going to probably walk right into us, and we'll stop them at the pass, as it were. I'll actually shift my lictor production up to Rim Mountains, so I can pump out even more lictors. And I think we'll be able to hold them off. What's going to happen is, as I imagine, this army's going to come here. We'll have collected some troops in this Rim Mountains, because we'll have this army coming down there. We'll also have troops still spawning in Ermor, including lictors, naturally speaking. We're reviving a total of 6 this turn, and more next turn. Roderick is moving out with some death gems to join the army in Rame, because they used up almost all of their death gems. They only have 2. And I will need Shadow Blast in order to break through the gates. So they're going to move up here, siege the fortress down, crack it. They're going to have to wait 1 more turn for the death gems to show up. So in 3 turns, they should storm the fort, and they should take the place. I'm almost tempted not to wait. I'm almost tempted to just go in as hard as possible. Just with the knights and the lictors set on attack rear. Just charge in as hard as I can. They do still have some of their Ulmish infantry, and those Ulmish infantry can still massacre my infantry pretty effectively. So I need the good units to go in before the chaff. See, they have 110 units here, consisting of mainly black plate infantry. If we look at the retreat from Anasia, they only had about 30 black plate infantry surviving. So I think I'm going to need more Shadow Blast than I have available in order to clean that up. Now, Shadow Blast should be more effective in the confines of the fort, so I might not need all that many more, but I will need some more. If you hear screaming in the background, my roommate is watching a movie, so just ignore that. It serves as an appropriate soundtrack to Ermor, actually. It's very, very appropriate. Meanwhile, we've got Foul Flesh here. Foul Flesh has a little bit of an army. We're just going to drop off those zombies real quick. We'll give him these guys. And he's also got these shades that Itimu has spawned. Itimu is just going to keep raiding and stealing provinces and gaining income. We've got another gang of Blackplate Infantry and Guardians coming after us. I may need to contact Ulm, and see if I can make some kind of a deal. He's got quite a few priest smiths back in Ulm itself, which I don't think I can really take on. My goal here is basically to take these 2 forts from Ulm and hold them. I'm moving my independent priests in this direction so that I can use them to reanimate ghouls in Rame. And that will murder the population very quickly, but it will of course give me ghouls that I can use as siege defense. Not having a ton of ghouls because I screwed up in the first little while is why this is threatening. Because this army probably has like 400 siege strength or something. If I'd managed to stack hundreds of ghouls in my forts in the way that I should have, then I would literally ignore this. I would just move on and take Ermor's stuff, and take Ulm's stuff, I'm sorry, and let him sit outside my walls sieging me forever. But unfortunately, I don't have the siege defense. I need more ghouls, which I don't have. So, yeah, that's frustrating, but it's entirely my fault. So I have to move this whole army down here to crack this fort, and I think I'll be able to build up enough stuff here in order to hold off this army. But we'll just kind of have to see. I'm going to have 4 casters, lictors. I've got 6 lictors right now. I'll have 6 again next turn. That'll give me 12, 18 by the time they attack Rim Mountains. Oof. What I might do is I might... Yeah, I think I'll move the cavalry back, actually, because the cavalry will be of limited use here. And when it can flank, it'll do a better job against these guys, because it can run around the flanks and hit them in the rear. And I don't think they have the troop numbers to really fully guard themselves against that. Because if we look at their formation here, they're pretty much just all in blobs. And the troops are moving forward, while the mages do not. They do have some troops back here on hold, and probably they're on hold and attack cavalry. But also they have a, I think they have a cold aura bless. I think is what's happening here. Yeah, they have a chill aura bless, which is screwing up their own crossbows hilariously. But I'm like, these goads, these priests back here, if I can time and aim it right, I should be able to get knights back among at least the archers and hopefully also the priests. And if I can do that, they'll wreak havoc. They will absolutely destroy these priests. Infantry-wise, the infantry fight is going to be rough because Chewed Skin Shifters are good. Might be able to take on my lictors, so I might need... This is very ill-timed. Well, it's very well-timed from their perspective, but... Anyway, we're just going to do the best we can. Mechanther, actually sneak up here. Don't be going around to site search right now. You need to be busy. I have other things I need you to do. Wormwood, however, can go collect those units and take this province. They're just garbage, but garbage should be able to overwhelm 5 or 6 barbarians. So, that's the turn. We're going to try to siege this down, we're going to siege this down, and we're going to do our best against Vanarus. Taking this fort and losing this fort wouldn't be the worst trade. So to be honest, what I might do is actually pull everybody back into Ermor, let him siege that, and then counterattack if I think I can. And we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's turn 27, and I'll see you all in turn 28. Alright folks, it's turn 28, and it has been a good turn. So, moved our army in, busted the fort in Rame. There was a very minor battle against the province defense. We did lose 3 of our lictors, which is kind of super unfortunate. Those crossbows, man. Those crossbows. And you can watch here. Just crossbow bolts flying in. The lictors go in, wiped out the infantry very, very quickly. I think it was these guys who actually got killed. But in any case, we overran the place with no problem, and we busted the fort in 1 turn. Meanwhile, in the Forest of the Lost, this was kind of a hilarious one. This is Itimu, of course. Itimu the Wraith Lord, back here on his horse, and he's just blessing himself and giving himself power, and then he's rushing over on attack rear. And this army contains this guy, who is one of the commanders who fled from the earlier battle where we broke the Olmish army. He's lost an eye, but he still has all his magical gear. Now, for Middle Age Ulm, this isn't a huge investment, but the flambeau is still 11 gems, and the Eye of Aiming is at least 1, and the Girdle of Might is at least 1, so it's still a minimum of 13 gems worth of equipment. Plus, of course, all these Black Plate Infantry and Guardians and such, but in any case, Itimu basically, watch, and hits him once, withers him with his withering weapons, and the commander dies. So that's a whole bunch of gems that you will never see again. And of course, Itimu became unequally obese in the process, and then went all the way back to the capital, and is fine. Sorry about that, had to have a little pause there. But in any case, so I've actually negotiated with Ulm, and we're actually going to stop fighting, at least temporarily. Vanarus backed off. And full disclosure, I don't know why. In his place, I would have pushed on in an effort to end the Ulmish menace once and, or rather the Ermorian menace once and for all, but he decided not to, and I can respect that decision. I'm going to send Itimu over here to raid away some of these provinces, and possibly strike into his territory real quick. They don't have any population, they're not giving any income, but they are at least places where events can happen and places where I can theoretically build temples. Also, I got a random event this turn, where I found a Ring of Frost and, most importantly, 650 gold. I also lost some population from the Greater Wild, but I don't really care about that. That is enemy dominion, and it'll be fine. But I got enough gold that I can build another temple, so I'm going to take Rame here, which also has a catacombs, and then I will build a temple in it. And this is a really good fort, so that'll be great. I mean, it's not a fantastic fort, but it's as good as my upgraded fortress. It's already upgraded, and has administration 30. Yeah, it's exactly the same. So we'll be able to use this right off the bat to start spawning more troops. Ulm and I are, as I said, going to have peace, or at least a ceasefire. Murgos here is going to dive onto this province, take it to get a little tiny bit more income. And then I'm probably going to try and send these barbarians off to die to reduce my upkeep. I am positive in income right now. From Rame, I'm getting half the income from Ermor, which is actually a really good province. And I'm getting income from the Greater Wild. So we've agreed he's going to just take the Greater Wild again. I couldn't stop him if I wanted to. Although, this army is now leaderless, I believe. Yeah, that commander is now leaderless, so these troops are actually stuck. And I'm going to take this one instead. And I will move my priests down there and use them to generate ghouls for as long as possible. Actually, I'm probably going to go to Rame first. Yeah, let's go to Rame first, and these two will also go to Rame, and they will all immediately begin turning the population into ghouls as fast as they possibly can. Is fine. Crawler has picked up these troops and is headed back home with them. You can see here, I am being raided by this Shura, the Ghost General. It's a conjuration summon for Shigeyama. It's not geared, but it is ethereal and has high protection, so it's pretty hard to kill. Plus it's an undead. I mean, it's just like my undeads, but ethereal and with high protection. So that's a little bit of a nuisance. It's going to be a bit tricky to deal with since I took Withering Weapons. I think Withering Weapons makes my weapons magical as well. I think. But you can see he just doesn't take much damage at all. He takes a few hits there. In fact, if he'd gotten a little less lucky, he could have died here, because he's down below half health. But my Mound King went into combat and is getting withered by the Bane Blade. But yeah, he's down to 5 HP. He could easily have died here, to be honest. A couple worse rolls and he would have gone down. Huh, interesting. I wonder why he's sending in totally ungeared thug chassis. Dunno. Is still role-playing. So we'll see how that comes out. Apparently my spy in Is has been discovered, and so might be part of why I haven't actually been receiving any death gems from Is lately, but then I didn't really anticipate that that was going to last all that long. So, my position right now is actually really good. I'm about to have a third fort/temple complex. I'm storming this castle with everything except Nermanthu, who is holding back with 11 guys. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to take these guys. Basically, all I need is somebody with something to stay behind and maintain the siege if all goes wrong. And actually, Nermanthu can do that alone. So, we're going to let him do that alone. And everyone else will just storm the castle. So Nermanthu will hold out, make sure that even if everything goes terribly, terribly wrong, I will still have this place under siege and I can move another stack in to claim it. But I really don't anticipate anything should go wrong because I think he ran. I mean, last turn there were a bunch of troops in here, but I think they ran away. In particular, I think Iron Fudge is gone. I think his god probably teleported out. Because otherwise I would see him, and I don't. And I cannot think that he left his god in here to die, because he can't have planned to hold this thing. I mean, the mere fact that he's been willing to come to the negotiating table with me tells me how little he thinks his chances are. Yeah, Iron Fudge teleported back to the capital at Ulm. To be honest, I could probably push straight in against Ulm and win out at least some more territory. But we'll see. I probably will soon, but I'm a little bit worried about Shinuyama. I need to shove Shinuyama back, and I would like to also kind of reclaim these provinces out here. So I'm going back on the defensive. Playing on the defensive just doesn't hurt Ermor in the way that it hurts most nations, so I don't mind doing it at all. Like, it doesn't bother me in the slightest to be on the defensive for a short time. I'm going to give Foul Flesh a whole bunch of, not ghouls, and not lictors. I'm going to give Foul Flesh a whole bunch of random skeletons, and he will use them to patrol, so as to kill scouts, which I just do irregularly, more or less at random, to kill scouts that have moved in. So I've got a whole bunch of dudes patrolling here. Over 100. I've got 80 dudes patrolling here. I've got Plague Tongue, the Censor, who I think just spawned. I think he must have just spawned, or something. But, I mean, what the heck, I'll have him patrol too, because he's not doing anything valuable. So there. If there are any scouts, we'll kill them off. And we'll take Rame, and from there, we will begin to plot our next move. Rame will be an extremely valuable province, because it'll give me a death and an astral gem per turn, so my first non-death income. After this, Putruscator is going to start site searching. And I'm going to have him running around site searching all the provinces that I think I can hold pretty reliably. Rame, Rim Mountains, Light Hills, probably also Ukrema. I'm going to see if I can, either through trade or from random events, I really want to get enough money to throw up a fourth fort. Because that would be incredibly valuable. And so hopefully I can do that. We'll see what else I can accomplish, but hopefully that at least. So, this is actually going better than I had thought. And a big reason for that is that I have not been effectively ganged up on. I was basically allowed to kind of sit here fighting Ulm and just occasional little forays from people long enough that my land is now extremely hard to invade because all the population is dead. And that means that there are almost no supplies anywhere, and I can just kind of wipe people out as they come. Like, I suspect one reason that big army may have turned back was supply issues. Because, I mean, they had over 300 units, and over 300 units consume significant supplies. So I'm thinking that may have been a part of it, because I can't think of any other reason why they wouldn't at least push on to here and try to besiege Rim Mountains. But hey, maybe they were just being cautious after knowing that I'd just broken Ulm's main army. But in any case, I will see you all in turn 29.